Hello everyone, my name is Jorge Diaz, president and founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing and an Infusionsoft Certified Consultant. I'm also the host of How Do You Define Infusionsoft Success, or Defining Infusionsoft Success. This week I have Jeremy Shapiro. He's president and founder of FuseDesk. Here's my guest. A lot of you've probably heard of him because he's been all over the Infusionsoft space. He's been a sponsor of InfusionCon, I think, from the beginning, right, Jeremy?
For about the past 6 years now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beginning as far as many of us are concerned, so cool. But Jeremy, you know, it's a ticketing system at its base, but a lot of what I'd like to talk to him about is customer service, because he's really developed a lot of expertise in that space. I met him probably 3 or 4 years ago at one of the icons because I was looking for what I thought at the time was a ticketing system. And in the process of using his tool, I realized, you know what? I didn't need a ticketing system. I needed a project management system. And that it was actually good for me because it kind of helped me in my mind understand what it was that I needed. You know, and since then I tried Basecamp, Reich. We're now pretty involved using Asana. I mean, it was good for me. It was no reflection on the product. It's just that I was buying the wrong thing. But Jeremy, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself so people know who you are, and tell us how you kind of got into this space.
Cool. Well, thank you again so much for having me. My name is Jeremy Shapiro, founder of FuseDesk. And, you know, FuseDesk is the help desk add-on for Infusionsoft. And the idea all sparked many years back, actually, as a result of us coming on board to Infusionsoft. I was at a GKIC event, super conference, I believe, and ran into Clayt when they were just kicking off Infusionsoft. And for the business that I had at the time, we were a data company and had built our own entire CRM from scratch with e-commerce, support, autoresponders, the follow-up sequences, marketing automation, everything we'd hand-built from scratch. And when I met Clayt, I realized, my gosh, there's a better way. There's a product called Infusionsoft that for our next business, if we launch on Infusionsoft, we don't have to build the entire underlying infrastructure. We can focus on the business part of our business, not the technology. And so my commitment to Clayt at that time was, Clayt, when we launch our next business, we're launching it on Infusionsoft. And that opportunity came in 2009. We were launching a new business and built it on Infusionsoft from day one. And we quickly found that there simply wasn't a great way for us to take care of our customers that was easy for our team to use, provided the insights us business owners wanted, and integrated deeply and fully into Infusionsoft. And so after all that research and coming up with, you know, a dozen different options that all had one or all of those puzzle pieces missing, we had the idea of, do we create our own help desk? Is that a good idea? And so I ran it past a mastermind group that I was part of, and I got some really interesting feedback. At the time, Infusionsoft had less than 4,000 customers, and everyone said, you know, Jeremy, if you go out and build a help desk for Infusionsoft, like, that's a terrible business idea. But if you're going to do it, can we also have it? And so that provided sort of this really interesting feedback that we were going to build it, and we did.
Yeah, and my assumption is those other people in your mastermind were Infusionsoft users, right?
The ones who had that feedback for me, yeah. They were using Infusionsoft and faced that same sort of challenge we did, wanting to take great care of the customers and not finding a great solution for doing that.
Right. Because, I mean, there are other help desk systems out there. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Some of them are really good. But the integration with Infusionsoft is going to be weak.
Right. Right. What we found is we were looking for a solution that would integrate deeply to Infusionsoft, provide the key insights us business owners needed, provide a great experience for our customers, and was easy for our team to use. And so there were solutions that did integrate to Infusionsoft, but they were terrible help desk solutions. There were solutions that were easy for the staff to use, but provided a terrible end customer experience and didn't integrate to Infusionsoft. And every which way we cut it, we tried about a dozen different options out there. Many of the top options are still around today. And everything was just missing some of those critical components.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'd like to kind of really, you know, talk to you about this, because, you know, again, I've been in IT for 20 plus years, so I mean, I get this, and I've used, I mean, I worked at IBM and we had internally built ticketing. I've worked on Remedy, you know, all the big ones, and so, you know, at its essence, it's okay. A customer opens up a ticket, or a user inside the building. It's a ticket, I look at it, you know, and I respond, or I call them, you know, whatever the right thing is. But there's so much more, because there's things like, you know, a knowledge base, so that, you know, if 10 people are asking the same question, you don't have 10 people answering the same question over and over again with the answer from scratch. There's I guess now you guys have features, is my understanding, for online self-help, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So if I'm a customer out there and I'm thinking, my customer service isn't exactly what I want it to be, how would they kind of engage with, FuseDesk and figure out, is this something that can help me?
Yeah, great question. So the cool thing with FuseDesk is we're able to get you a demo application to try out FuseDesk in your business and see exactly how easy it is to take care of your customers, how easy things can be to use, and how deep the integration to Infusionsoft is. That way we remove sort of all those barriers so you can get right and actually see how this works in your business.
Yeah.
So for example, when we talk about...
You've got the logins tied together, right?
Exactly. So one of the things we talk about is keeping things easy for your reps and your support team. Well, when they want to log into a system, do you want system chaos with more systems and more logins and more credentials? Or do we want to keep things easy? So with FuseDesk, when your reps log in, they log in using their Infusionsoft ID and their password. This means when you add new reps and new users to Infusionsoft, they can log right into FuseDesk. When you remove a user in Infusionsoft, they can no longer access FuseDesk. And it's all now synchronized in one place, one login for your users to access all the systems they need.
Gotcha. So where do people typically start? I mean, I guess is the assumption they're already kind of doing this via email, right?
Yeah, so all of us in some way, shape, or form are providing service through a system. It just may not be what we think of as a system. So for many folks, they use like an email inbox or a shared email. So you might have like support@mycompany.com, and that goes into a Gmail account, and then 4 of your team members log into that, right? And so now you have a situation where the emails come in and you can correspond back to your customers, and you can even save some of those emails to Infusionsoft. But you end up either forwarding emails around to team members or having things fall through the cracks. You don't get a feeling of metrics in terms of how many cases is your team handling, how long does it take to respond to customers, how long does it take to resolve issues, and you lose that whole concept of metrics, right? The other option might be that you're using a help desk that doesn't integrate to Infusionsoft. So what that looks like is your team now at least has a concept of cases. So you're able to transfer cases between team members, you're able to track those cases, you may even be able to get the metrics that you want, but you now have system chaos. Your support reps are now logging into two different systems. And let's walk through a scenario. Let's say a customer is looking for their login to a membership site, right? So a customer emails your support team and says, I'm trying to log in, but I don't have my password, right? So in your two-system world, your support team logs into their help desk. They see the customer case. They take that case. They see who the customer is. They then go log into Infusionsoft, look up that customer, find that customer, click into the contact record, go to additional info, find the username, password, make sure they have their tags, copy, paste, go back over to the other system, copy and paste the email up and back. And you're at about 59 steps now of just trying to keep these systems in sync and move the information up and back, right?
And
so what does it look like in a fully integrated world? Yeah. So in a fully integrated world, your team logs into FuseDesk using the same information as they have for Infusionsoft. They see the same customer case automatically linked up, except this time that customer's question is automatically saved onto the contact record in Infusionsoft. When your team wants to respond to the customer, they simply click the templates, choose the can't log in template, and that now pre-fills in the customer's name. It has their membership site login, their password, the link to log in, troubleshooting steps, and more. Your team now clicks send, and they can move on to the next case. So response goes to Infusionsoft, the username merges in, everything is all fully and deeply integrated.
So they would use the same contact screen that they're used to using with Infusionsoft, right?
They wouldn't even have to use it because we're tied in on the back end, so we can pull in and merge that customer's information right into the email template. What's beautiful about this as well is we all love when we hire new staff and have to train them on Infusionsoft, right?
Yeah, really.
So with FuseDesk, you now have a simple two-screen system. When you have a new team member coming on who's in support, instead of learning all of Infusionsoft, they can now simply log into FuseDesk and they work with two screens, a queue of cases and an individual case. They finish a case, they move on to the next one, they go back to their case queue, into a case, back into a case queue, two simple screens, and all the information is still passing up and back between Infusionsoft with your reps not even having to log into Infusionsoft.
Yeah, if I'm like, I'm getting it, and I've used FuseDesk enough to kind of get what you're saying. But I think if I'd never seen this, it seems like there's too much automagic going on here. So let's say, okay, so I submit this to the support desk, and the person gets this thing. Well, even a step before that, if I don't have my password, and I don't think to hit the little reset button, and of course I'm sure we have tons of people who forget to hit the forgot password button, and now it's going out. I could probably search using your tool and say, hey, forgot my password, and then I guess that would bring up knowledge-based stuff that you produce, right?
Yeah, so we have a free WordPress plugin for FuseDesk, and so this ties into your WordPress site, where most of us these days run our business sites, our membership sites, and more. That when your customer starts to type in their question, for example, lost password, can't log in, etc., we live automatically search all of your FAQs and posts you have in your knowledge base on your WordPress site already to find the content they have access to that might best help them, and provide a link right to them.
So is this stuff in WordPress, or is it inside of FuseDesk?
All of the posts, FAQs, content, everything else is all in WordPress. This allows you to have membership content. This allows you to have content access control. This allows you to have not just FAQs, you can have even deeper content. For example, if you're posting up membership site updates, or you have different posts and content for your customers, it can now search all of that to pull back an answer for your contacts.
Nice. And so this is that plugin that you're mentioning.
Exactly. Yep. It's a free plugin that links the two systems together.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So if you're using Memberium, for example, or Wishlist, iMember 360, Wisp, any of these membership site add-ons that link Infusionsoft and WordPress, we fit right in there and play beautifully with all those systems, keeping everything in one place.
Okay,
and if your customer can't find the answer they're looking for, they just click Create Support Case, and it automatically creates a case right in FuseDesk for your team to jump on and take care of with that customer.
Right, and you already know who they are, so I'm sure you can take advantage of that information, right?
It's automatically linked. You don't even have to ask them for their name and email. If they're logged in as a member, you can just have a box that says, how can we help you? They fill it out, click a button, done. Support case created for them.
See, that I didn't know. I knew the button, but the lookup and how that WordPress plugin works, that's cool. I'm thinking
it's super powerful.
I have a customer that might be able to take advantage of that. Okay.
Awesome. I grew up with the philosophy of KISS, keep it simple, Shapiro.
Please.
And so that comes down
Shapiro.
to, if there's an easy, keep it simple, Shapiro.
Yeah.
If there's an easier way to do something and we can do it simply, we can save steps, that's all the better. That's why we're always looking at how can we remove the number of clicks you need to do something? How can we keep things simpler, smoother, and easier? This is why, for example, in FuseDesk, when you have different departments for your organization, maybe for different brands or products, you can have different template categories, different default reply templates, different merge fields and automation that you use. So this way, for example, let's stick with membership sites. You have a contact who emails in and says, I want to cancel my membership. Your team, right from that case in FuseDesk, can apply an Infusionsoft tag or run a legacy Infusionsoft action set to cancel the member, remove their password, remove their access, add them as a past member, put them into a reactivation campaign, and more, without ever going into Infusionsoft. They just apply that one tag or run action set right on the case in FuseDesk and get back to their day and move on to the next.
In FuseDesk, if I've got a set of tags that have a certain, you maybe put prefixes on them, then people can just kind of go right to those and say that one. And that's the response. And again, Infusionsoft behind the scenes takes care of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, see,
exactly. We want to keep it as easy as possible for your team.
And that's something that unless you're integrated with Infusionsoft, good luck, you can't do that.
Correct. Now, there are some other third-party help desks that have a very light topical integration to Infusionsoft. And typically what that looks like is a contact lookup. It'll take the email address and try and look up if the contact is in Infusionsoft. And if it is, great. It shows you who that contact is. That's about as deep as most of the integrations go. With FuseDesk being built only for Infusionsoft from day one, not only do we have the login sync using your Infusionsoft ID, not only are we pulling up all your templates, and within those templates letting you use merge fields, custom fields, automation links, and more, we're also letting you run your automation, apply tags, and so much more. And all of those internal notes that you have with your team, all of your phone calls logged, all of your emails up and back, everything is stored back on that contact record in Infusionsoft. All that data is yours and linked to a contact in Infusionsoft.
Are they sitting, in the notes area?
So all of our notes are stored within notes as either a call or an internal note. And all the emails are stored in Infusionsoft as sent and received emails.
So they're just sitting there.
Now, exactly. All the data is stored right there in Infusionsoft.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, a lot of people, may not know this, but I get your blog, and you're like the customer service guy.
Thank you.
So let me ask you, what are the kind of things that you see people, running into? And I guess these should be things that I guess would signal, hey, they really maybe need to step it up either with a better process or maybe with a tool like yours.
Great question. So one of our core values is Kaizen. We're always looking, how can we continuously and never-endingly improve everything we're doing? And so wherever we see sort of one of these areas where there could be improvement, either outside of FuseDesk or within, we ask ourselves, what can we do to tackle that? How can we help the team achieve the outcome they're looking for? So, for example, one common thing we see is that if you don't track how long it takes to first reply to an email or a customer case, and how long it takes to resolve, then you can end up with hot potato. And the hot potato game works like this. One of your reps receives an email from a customer, and they don't know what to do with it, so they transfer it to a colleague. The colleague looks at it and says, well, I don't know what to do with it. So they transfer it to somebody else. It's moving around, but it's never responded to. And so now you have this aging case, and the customer is simply not hearing back.
Yeah,
but the team feel like they're doing something.
Yeah, it's not because any one person made a mistake. It's just that it's being popped around, right?
It's being popped around, right? Or it ends up in someone's case queue, and they say, well, I don't know what to do. I'll get back to it later. And so we have a few different things to help out with this. One is we have what we call our colored gemstones. So right along the sidebar inside of FuseDesk, next to each person's name in each department, we have the number of new cases out of total cases in that queue, and then a color that goes from green to yellow to red, which shows you how old the oldest case is in the queue in terms of when it was last responded to. And so at a glance, you can see, oh my gosh, Bob over here in support has gone from green to yellow and is moving towards red. He must have some cases that aren't being responded to. How can I help Bob out? Right? And you can jump in and collaborate and help in those cases. And then once you're in a given queue, all the cases are color-coded the same way. So you can quickly spot, well, here's the red case amongst all the green cases. At the top of the queue, we then show you the stats for within that queue, whether maybe it's your inbox or your membership queue or what have you. How many cases have come in? We then show you how long it takes to assign cases, first respond, and resolve. And you can now have live updates to those metrics and see exactly where you and your team are in taking care of those case stats. And so we actually have full training where we talk about how to reduce the assignment times, first response times, and resolution times, and what the different tools and techniques are so you can get back to your customers faster.
Right, so
because remember, it doesn't matter how long it takes to take action on a case. It matters how long it takes to get back to that customer. That's what they want to hear as a response.
I mean, sometimes it's okay if it takes 4 days to fix something, but I got an update every day that says, hey, someone's working on it. Versus I get an email 4 days later, hey, we fixed your problem. It's like, oh, dude, where have you guys been?
Where were you? Exactly. So part of what we do to address that as well is we have case statuses. So this case status, the case status that a new case is new, meaning it needs your team's attention. Open, meaning it needs the customer's attention. And then close, meaning it's fully resolved to the customer satisfaction. Now, if you're just using email, typically your team will respond back to a customer and say, cool, it's taken care of, right? And a common mistake that support teams make is they respond to customers and assume a response equals resolution, right? So let's take an example where this might be costing your company money. A customer contacts you and they say, let's say it's a pre-sales question, and they say, I'm interested in buying your product, how do I do that? Well, your support team most likely will respond back and say, here's the link to buy, go ahead and complete your purchase. They would then mark that case as resolved.
Right.
But is it really resolved?
Yeah. Did the guy get what he wanted?
Did the customer complete the purchase? So what you can do is that case now gets marked as open, meaning it doesn't need your response, but you want to make sure it gets taken care of. And so now it's been 2 days. You see the case is still open. You might check in the customer and realize, oh, they still haven't bought. Now you can follow up and help move that customer from a prospect. So you can move that contact from a prospect to a customer because of follow-up. And we've seen this time and time again, just that stick-to-itiveness of not letting it fall through the cracks takes those opportunities that have previously been lost and helps convert those into actual customers.
Right, so here you are, you're not even using it for customer service, you're using it as part of the sales process.
A lot of our customers use FuseDesk for pre-sales and post-sales, yeah.
Nice.
We actually have entire sales organizations that run on top of FuseDesk.
Very nice, very nice. I mean, and let me tell you, so if I got into FuseDesk, do you have like different models or flows to follow, or do you kind of have to build this?
No, so FuseDesk out of the box, in like under 48 seconds, you can be responding to real live customer cases and taking care of them. When you first log in, you'll use your Infusionsoft ID and password. We then walk you through three super simple things. The first is we ask who else you want to invite to your application, and you choose one of your colleagues from the list and click next. That invites them. You then confirm the default reply template we have for you that has your company name, phone number, email address, all those
Like
things.
your signature stuff.
You click, exactly. And most folks like what we have there. They click next. And then you turn your email forwarding on. So whether it's GoDaddy or cPanel, Google Apps, Office 365, whatever, you just turn your support email address to forward into FuseDesk. We give you an address for that.
Oh, okay. Oh, right,
as soon as you've done that.
Yeah, so support@larryjacob.com would go to something at FuseDesk, right?
Precisely. Yep, and we give you the instructions right there. You turn that on, and then live customer cases start coming in. You can start responding to them and taking care of your customers from there. It's that easy to get on board. Once you're on board taking care of cases, we highly encourage folks to create actually a template library. So go through and look at what are your top 10 most frequently asked questions. And you simply click on templates in the bottom left of FuseDesk, and you can start customizing your templates, which are all just Infusionsoft templates to take care of your customers' needs.
But let me ask you, so this could be inside of a login, right?
Say again?
From the customer standpoint, I could have a login, and then I would see what my open tickets are and things like that.
Yeah, so some of our more technical customers that are offering like bug reporting and sort of have longer tail cases and are used to a more technical customer like you had when you were at IBM, for example, right? In that situation, yeah, in addition to the new case shortcode we have in WordPress, there's also the My Cases. So you can have in your membership site customers log in and can view their cases. When we stepped back and looked at, what are some of the shortcomings of other support systems out there, one of the big ones we found was forcing the customer to bend to your ticketing system.
Yeah,
when in reality, the customer wants
login is annoying sometimes.
Extremely annoying. So with FuseDesk, the experience for the end customer when they're looking for help from you is they're going to send an email out to support. They're going to get a reply back from a person and have a very human-to-human interaction, right? Compare that with sort of the more traditional model, which is you email a company. Maybe it goes into a black hole, you never hear back, right? Sometimes, though, you'll hear back and it'll bounce you and say, hey, go to this website, log in, create a username and password, click new ticket.
Don't even go there. I've gone through that nightmare before.
We've all experienced that nightmare, but the common one these days that we often see is you'll email a company, you'll then get back an email that says a ticket has been created, this is your ticket number, respond to this email below this line but not above this line, and don't use this font, and don't change this, and don't remove that with all these do's and don'ts. To update your ticket, click here, and then you respond back, or they respond to you, and you can't even find what the rep said deep within this email conversation because it's this crazy structure, right? We keep it as a simple email-threaded conversation. Your customer never even knows that you're using FuseDesk on the back end. Your team now just is able to leverage technology to do their job easier.
Talking to George or Fred or whoever.
Yeah, so we believe in keeping it human. So when we train FuseDesk folks on keeping it human with their customers, part of that is that your templates come from your first name, last name. Now the email address is still your support at, info at your company, etc. But the actual name on that is the rep's name, and it's signed as the rep, right? So the conversation is with a real person, but it still comes back into a collaborative team system.
Yeah, and then when it replies, it knows based on the numbers that it's this guy's case. Gotcha.
Yeah, we're able to link it back up. Even if they strip everything out and just send another email back in with the same subject line, we know it's the same person. We know they already have a case of that subject, and we relink things right back up. And even if in a situation they create a completely new email to you from a different email address entirely, you're still able to, in FuseDesk, link those two together and merge those cases back into one case for that content.
Very good. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much. And you've covered, you talk really fast, so you cover a lot of material in a short period of time. If people want to get a hold of you, how would they reach you?
Yeah, the best thing to do is we'll have a link for you right down here that will bring you over to FuseDesk to find out more about FuseDesk.
It might be up here. I was thinking about it.
It might be up here.
So
your link will be somewhere around here.
Yeah, but it'll get you over to their FuseDesk.com so that you can reach them. Again, this might be of interest to a lot of the folks listening, be they consultants or, or end customers. But, thank you so much for kind of going over that with us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Great. And make sure to follow him. Get on his mailing list. It's actually, a pretty good one. He covers a lot of interesting topics. He's one of the guys that I follow. So anyway, thank you very much for,
cool, thank you.
for being a guest.
Thanks for having me. Take care, guys.